Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I'm a 20 female living at home while attending community college. Community college is free in my state, and I also have grants, so I can save money by living with my parents. I don't pay rent, but I cover my own utilities and handle about 70% of the chores and yard work around the house. It works out well since my parents are in their 60s and need help, and it allows me to save up. Last month, my dad had to go to the ER and needed some tests done. My parents asked me for help with the bills because insurance didn't cover everything. They wanted $4,000, and since I had the money in my account, I transferred it to them. For context, both my sister, 23 female, and I were given $20,000 as a college fund from our parents when we graduated high school. Mine is untouched because I'm attending a community college and working part-time, so I've been able to add to that fund instead of spending it. I was happy to help my parents out, since they've been so supportive. However, yesterday, I overheard my mom on the phone telling someone not to worry and that she would just ask for more money from OP. That put me on high alert. Later that night, my parents approached me again and asked for $2,000 for car repairs. I told them I didn't have it. They said I should just take money out from my college fund like the last time. I told them I needed it for my education and future. But they started saying that I needed to give it back since it was theirs in the first place, and I wasn't using it right now. I asked if they had asked my sister to give back her college fund. She never even went to college, but she got to keep the $20,000. They said no, and when I pressed them, they said my sister needed that money. She has 3 kids and a 4th on the way with a new boyfriend. When I pressed further, they admitted the $4,000 I gave them last month wasn't for my dad's medical bills. I had suspected as much, that it was for my sister who needed the money for her new baby because her boyfriend only works part-time now. Now my parents are insisting I give back my college fund because my sister needs it more. They're saying she might not be able to afford the 4th baby without more assistance. I'm furious. I told them they shouldn't punish responsible behavior, me saving and being careful with money, to enable my sister's poor decisions. I've been vocal in the past about how I think my sister is being irresponsible, and it feels like my parents are always prioritizing her needs over mine. Since then, my parents have been huffing and giving me the cold shoulder, and I'm starting to feel frustrated. How do I handle this without causing a bigger rift in the family? I'm already tired of always being the one expected to give up everything. Any advice would be appreciated. Edit. I should mention that I wasn't actually home when my dad supposedly went to the ER. My parents only mentioned it after I got back. It seems like they might have made up the story about the ER visit to get money from me for my sister. This just makes me feel even more used and manipulated. I don't know what to think anymore. Update. Thanks to everyone who commented and gave me advice. I've done some thinking and I want to clarify a few things before diving into the update. I have no intention of moving out of my parents' house right now. It's a sweet deal. No rent, no worrying about meals. And I always have a hot dinner waiting when I get back home. Besides, my parents do need help around the house. And let's not forget they owe me $4,000 now. So after thinking things through, I decided to sit them down for a serious talk. I called them out for lying about the ER visit and told them they were awful for deceiving me just to get money for my sister. I also laid it out plainly. They need to stop giving most of their pension to my sister. I told them they are just enabling her bad decisions, and at the rate she's going to have 10 kids and still no job or way to support herself by 30. They tried to argue back, but I made it clear that while I'm willing to help them out and stay in low contact with my sister, I'm not going to give them any more money. It's time for them to stop sacrificing their own well-being and mine to prop up her poor choices. My parents aren't exactly thrilled with this, but I can see some cracks forming in their resolve. My dad, Especially seems to be starting to realize that he's driving himself to the bone, working part-time, just to support my sister and the family. He's getting tired, and I think it's slowly sinking in how unsustainable this is. That's where things are. Thanks again for all the support and advice. It's helped me feel a lot more confident in standing up for myself. I'm glad you've talked to your parents about this, OP, and it seems like you've actually gotten through to them and made them realize they're in the wrong here. I understand that your sister seems to need money because she's expecting, but that doesn't mean you have to give up your college fund for her when she's already blown through hers. They can help her if they want, but they shouldn't come near your money just because you're financially stable right now. They need to stop enabling your sister, because honestly, they're not doing her any favors. They're not going to be here forever, and she needs to get her life together. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for ruining 3 relationships? I am a married woman who was happily married up until a few days ago. Recently, my husband started talking about a new girl at work. I thought, fine, I trust him, and he has other female friends. So I noticed the way he talked about her was different. He seemed really giddy, almost like when we were dating. It bothered me a bit, partly because she's 19 and I'm 36. But once again, I trusted him, so I left it alone. Occasionally, when he was texting her, I would ask what they were talking about, and he gave me vague answers. One day, I came home and found him talking on the phone with her. This bothered me. When he got off the phone, I told him how much it bothered me. I asked to see the messages between the two of them. He said that they were private. He mentioned that the two of them had played a game where they guessed secrets about each other, and he gave his word not to show it to anyone. I told him I felt this was too intimate of a conversation for friends to be having. He mentioned that she didn't really want her boyfriend to know they were talking. Red flags went off in my mind. I told him he needed to stop talking to her. He refused, saying he didn't want to lose his friend. Eventually, I decided to let the boyfriend know that they were talking and sharing secrets. I figured I would want to know if I were him. He said she had cheated on him multiple times before, and when he asked her about it, she denied everything. After all of that, they broke up. She told my husband to stop talking to her, therefore ending their friendship, and my husband and I are in a weird space now. Am I the a-hole for ruining 3 relationships? You're not the a-hole, OP. You had your worries and they were valid. Your husband became friends with a 19-year-old girl, and they started sharing secrets and acting like besties. You also said you noticed he's acting giddy when he talks about her. That's a red flag, a big one. You did nothing wrong informing her boyfriend of what she's doing with your husband. If it's as innocent as they all claim, her boyfriend wouldn't have broken up with her. Your husband shouldn't be mad at you for this. You did nothing wrong. Compared to him, you're the saint here, even if he claims they're just friends. Now for some comments. A partner that can't recognize when his behavior changed and why you have doubts about it, and moreover, refuses to prove himself when he's indeed the one that raises the red flags is a no-go. Especially since he cherishes this so-called friendship with a girl that could almost be his daughter. I would never check my partner's messages, phone or social media unless I had a good reason to, aka his behavior is weird. And upon asking if he's okay, he says that everything's fine. Not the a-hole. If you want your marriage to continue, then couples counseling seems like a good idea. Even if he never cheated physically, emotional cheating is still a betrayal, especially after you made your feelings known. Be prepared to listen to him though. That doesn't necessarily mean forgive or forget, but listen. Why did he feel like he needed to turn to another woman for anything? Why did he feel the need to conceal his feelings of that need? Just having a dialogue is all I'm saying. Not the a-hole. How come your husband is afraid to lose a friend but not your trust? Yes, what you did may have resulted in bringing 3 relationships into rocky seas, but it's better than having you become the only one suffering. Also, you saved your husband's reputation in a way, because if you let him continue meeting with his friend, his reputation would have gotten a lot worse, especially in working environments. Not a lot of people would want to hire someone who they knew would willingly risk his relationships for his own good. Story 3. Am I the a-hole for breaking a couple by telling them what they really think of each other? I'm on the debate team. My partner and I are planning to run for co-captains of policy next year. One type of debate. My partner, let's call him Tim, is honestly the better debater out of the two of us. But I'm a better writer, and more importantly in this case, better at politics. Well, as much as a high schooler can be. I anticipate our main competition is a team which also happens to be a couple, James and Mary. The main reason I worry about them is because they're from two different social groups with different friends. Here's what I mean. My partner and I were friends before high school, and therefore debate even started. Our friend group is the same. On the other hand, James and Mary come from two different cliques. James is popular in and out of debate, confident and friends with all the more social, showy members of the team who joined because they love public speaking and all that. Mary is quieter, more intellectual and into philosophical stuff, and is friends with the more intellectual wing of the debate team. So a joint ticket with them has a chance to get votes from both groups. The thing is, while I'm not friends with either of them, I know from casually talking to them that neither of them are really happy with the relationship, but don't want to break up because they'll know it will affect their debate partnership. Mary kind of sees James as big mouth, small brain. James sees Mary as overly idealistic, antisocial, and at times boring. So I told each of them what the other thought of them. This caused an argument in the middle of the debate meeting, and they actually broke up then and there. James was legit crying, and he blamed me for this. But everyone else seemed to agree that I was doing them a favor. They were incompatible but kept dating because of debate, and it made them unhappy. So who's right, James or everybody else? Am I the a-hole? Now for some comments. OP, you just made a post saying, I wanted X to happen, so I did something that was guaranteed to cause it, and it happened. And now James is blaming me for making X happen. Is James right? What the hell are you even doing on a debate team? You're the a-hole. And your post makes it clear that you're not only aware of it, but also apparently proud of it. So apparently, you're even more the a-hole than James realizes. You're the a-hole. Okay, dude, if the roaring crowds of the internet says you're an a-hole, you're clearly an effing ass. I ain't gonna tell you how to live your life, but we don't need a reason that bypasses your effing judgment to tell you you're an a-hole. To all these people and me, you're the a-hole. What you did may be right under your moral compass and you may have won, but you can't change what we think you are, and you're one hell of an a-hole. You're the a-hole. It's pretty obvious you're the a-hole because you didn't do this out of the goodness of your heart, and you know that. You knowingly and unnecessarily hurt two people, and what's worse is that you did it for personal gain. If you were sick of hearing their relationship BS, you could have established a firm boundary like no relationship talk during debate club or when they talked to you. Also, your replies to you're the a-hole judgment reads like a cringy pseudo-intellect who can't accept others' opinions. This isn't a place for debate. Accept your judgment. Stick to debating in your little club.